Finally got the brakes bled, if I can talk this morning. Had a problem with the fronts, particularly the other side. I had a little bit of a problem here, but I was able to get it fixed. So, and that's a standalone video, the problem that was. But got them bled. I did the gravity bleed the first time. Well, I really actually got it to work right. So I just filled the master cylinder up, took the bleeder screws out of the back. I took them out of the back first. I eventually did the fronts, and just walked away for a while and come back and check. And slowly the level of brake fluid in the master cylinder kept dropping. I need to top it off because I just got done bleeding the fronts again. As this would go down, you know, I knew it was moving through the system, and I topped it off a couple times, and eventually it started just kind of oozing out of the back, you know, the bleeder screw areas. Those put the bleeder screws back in. Then I went to the front and did the same thing. The fronts didn't do quite as well. This went down probably a little lower than half of that, and then it just kind of stopped. It just wouldn't go any farther. But I got the majority of it in there, and then it didn't take but half a, I just pushed the pedal in just a wee little bit to see if maybe I could force some movement, and then they started oozing out. So I think they were really, really close anyway. So, you know, put the bleeder screws back in, and then I was able to bleed them like really nice, you know, because I've got the little vacuum pump that works, but that's always sucking air around the threads of the bleeder screw, you know. So, but I got them bled, you know, and did the old-fashioned way of putting the something like this between the pedal and the seat, you know, push it down, you know, and then crack each one. And after I did the gravity bleed, just a couple little air bubbles came out of each corner, and that was it. And then it was good and solid, other than the leak I had on the front. But like I say, that's a standalone video that'll get uploaded probably right after this. So I've got brakes that work. I have my throttle hooked up, which was an adventure all by itself. So now I can get this thing ready to go have the exhaust hooked up, and then I can kind of finish up the rest, because right now it's stupid loud. I hate headers. I will never put headers on anything again. Not that they're so loud, it's that they're just a pain in the ass to work around. Hate them. I don't care how good a header they are. I just hate headers now. I really hate headers. I hate headers. So here's one that falls into the that's weird category. So a brand new caliper on this guy, and I could not get that thing to stop leaking. Both sides were doing it a little bit, but I was able to get that side fixed. I put new, well, see, let me back up. So it was leaking right out of here. This is upside down right now, but it was running down there. I could, if I was just bleeding it, you know, putting the rod on the brake pedal and the seat, you know, push it down, I could get it tight enough where it wouldn't leak. But as soon as I'd start the engine and use that, let the brake booster do its thing, then it would leak like a fucking sieve. It just run down here, just run like crazy. So I put new copper gaskets in here. So this is an extra hose I have. You know, replace that. I thought, well, maybe one of those got a nick in or something, whatever. Still did it. Okay, well, the next thing I got a different caliper, put it on, poof, no problem. So I'm thinking what happened and why this is so weird. I've never had this before. I think when they machined this little recess out here where the gasket sits, I think they got it too deep. And then you couldn't push, then essentially, try to do this one-handed here, you know, this part of the hose connection was bottoming out against the caliper itself. Because if I go under there now, and I can't get at it good enough to show you, but if you look at it from the side, you can see just a little bit of copper, you know, from that gasket. I think that's what happened. That got machined out too deep. So I'm debating whether I get the file out and I shave all that off, or I just take it back and they can deal with it. So I'm sure when they test these things, they don't put an actual hose on. They probably just screw something in there, put pressure to it. All the seals hold in there. It's good. Not knowing that, not realizing that might be a problem. Like I say, of the literally hundreds of calipers I've replaced over my life, I have never had a problem like that. So it's just weird, I guess.